based on what mistakes you did it, based on your experience, let's say the biggest mistake, or let's say two big mistakes during the past couple of startups you launched.
The reality is you're going to make mistakes every day along the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as long as you're a human being, I don't care what you say, like you're making mistakes, you're learning every day. You know, the goal is just to get a little bit better. In terms of the biggest mistakes, there's one that really, I've made a lot of hiring mistakes. Like even with Uplinq, I made a big mistake in terms of who I hired early on and considered making him a founder. He was just the wrong fit. Not a bad guy, just the wrong fit. And that's a pretty big mistake. But, you know, but we were able to get through it, and it really didn't impact the company like it could have. But if you're talking about like the one mistake that jumps off the table was probably about 12 years ago, and I'd left 12, 13 years ago. I'd left my first startup. I had thought at that point I knew everything, which was also a mistake. I had a bad attitude. And then I ended up starting this company. The idea was actually really good, really good idea. But what I did was I found a partner, an IT partner, instead of hiring like a CTO or bringing in a co-founder CTO. I found a partner, actually of all places, the UK, to basically build out the tech stack. And what we did was I negotiated such a good deal with them. Like it was ridiculously good for me, that it actually put a financial strain on them. And at that time, if you recall, you know, we're in a bad economy. I mean, in 2010, I mean, especially
economic
the economy,
crisis.
and in Europe was, you could argue the UK was even worse than the US. And actually, within less than a year, they got to a point where they were insolvent. And we were actually forced to close the business. So, I mean, we considered other options, but at the end of the day, that's what we decided to do. And I would tell you that was the biggest mistake, because the idea itself was a good idea. I'd already pre-sold it. I'd already, without having it built, established product market fit by having contracts that had guaranteed revenue to us. But the way I'd operationalized the business was wrong, and creating a win-lose scenario is only creating a lose-lose scenario. And it's interesting because I've learned from that over the years, and probably the biggest learning actually could be applied to Uplinq, where a very similar, let's just say, situation could have happened here. But it didn't. I remember what happened way back when, and I wouldn't let that happen here. And as a result, you know, the company is on a completely different path than, you know, what we were on way back when. So I would tell you that's probably the biggest one that jumps off the table at me.